There are people starting to resist these things all over the place. Marches all over the place and protests even inside of grocery stores, banks. And this is how it's being reported in the news.
Whether you wear a mask in public or not, face coverings have become a dividing symbol, really, some shaming those who don't use them.
Others are vehemently against masks and refuse to wear them. In some cases, they don't believe they actually help.
While most people are following the rules, there are those who are not.
They're going to get everybody sick. They're being selfish by not protecting themselves, let alone everybody else.
I found only 4 people who were wearing a mask and 54 who weren't. Those folks are choosing to put their neighbors, families, and friends at risk.
Waiting in line at a Nashville Kroger, these 3 firefighters wait to check out. Not one of them is wearing a face mask. A concerned viewer also sent us a picture showing police officers not wearing them either.
The president has repeatedly refused to wear a mask in public. Across the country, many of his supporters are following his lead.
Confrontations between maskers and anti-maskers have been going viral.
I work for Costco and I'm asking this member to put on a mask because that is our company policy. So either wear the mask.
And I'm not doing it because I woke up in a free country.
In Alabama, an off-duty officer was seen body slamming a woman at a Walmart when she allegedly refused to wear a mask.
Bro, you gotta wear a mask, bro.
Obviously, the media trying to portray people that don't want to wear a mask is a little bit crazy, but there's, I think, a lot more to it. I'll tell you, I'm really questioning the mask thing when I'm going out here in Texas. We have issues going on here. You know, you see crazy laws, and this is the thing, that you really still got, like, questioning each other. Right here in Texas, there's certain restaurants where if I go into the restaurant now, the law is I have to wear a mask before I get seated at the table. I was actually out trying to grab lunch with my executive producer, and we were at the restaurant. Neither one of us had a mask, and the place is empty, and I can see the tables like 10 feet away. I said, can't we just go over to the table? It's like, I'm sorry, sir, we cannot seat you without a mask. He said, but let me get this straight. The second I get there, I can take the mask off. They're like, that's right. I said, you want to tell me the science behind what viruses only stand at the front door? Doesn't have any way of atomizing as I'm speaking throughout the rest of the restaurant? I mean, come on, people. If the science makes no sense, do you follow through with it? I know there's someone else asking questions just like this, and I want to bring him on. David Rodriguez, who normally, David, we're talking about homeschooling. You've been a profound advocate out there fighting for people's right to homeschooling. And really the brilliance and genius of letting kids really follow their muse and their critical thinking abilities. And boy, does it feel like if there was ever a time we are seeing the failure of the American public school system and maybe the world's public school system, it seems like right now. What is your opinion on masks right now, just off the cuff? What do you think of masks?
I think if you want to wear a mask, go for it. I believe in freedom. I believe in the principles of self-ownership and non-aggression. But for me, I know life is risky, and I've actually done personal investigations into local hospitals in the Bay Area in California, and the hospitals are empty, and so I have not seen evidence of a global pandemic. But if somebody feels comfortable wearing a mask, feel free. But I'm not going to be wearing a mask unless the property owner asks me to, and that's part of the conversation that we're going to have. But wear a mask if you want, but I'm not going to wear one. I'm not going to participate with any coercion in my life, if possible at all.
You know, I keep thinking it's sort of a line that we heard in the vaccine movement for a long time. If your vaccines work, why are you worried about me? Can't we really go ahead and say the same thing? If your mask actually works, what difference does it matter whether I'm wearing one, right? If I get sick, that's my problem. You can't get sick, right? You can't take it home because you're wearing a mask. You're protected, supposedly. So what is the big deal? I mean, and you're in California, right?
Correct.
Okay, so California is getting pretty crazy with this. Let's go ahead. You know, you put together a video. You went out and went into grocery stores with Matt and a couple of friends. Let's just take a look at the videos you put out because this was awesome. Take a look, everyone.
Operation Grocery Store number 1. We're just here to go shopping without a mask. That's all we're asking here. This is what is so powerful, is that just one person can make a difference by speaking up. And thankfully, I'm not here by myself. I brought my friends. Any trouble from the staff here?
Freedom tastes delicious.
Nice. That's good. No trouble so far?
No, zero.
Awesome. I have not gotten anything here. I think I see an employee over there. sweeping the ground with no mask, man. Look at her. Awesome. That didn't give me any trouble at all. Did they give anybody you guys trouble?
No.
No?
They just requested that, at the end, they requested that we wear masks.
Only because there's so many fearful shoppers. They were in fear of us.
This is the number 12 exemption. If you have a health exemption, you're not required to wear a face covering. Also, if a person having difficulty breathing is also not.
Right.
So, in my opinion, wearing a face covering always makes it difficult to breathe.
Absolutely. So we are in a grocery outlet, and they stopped us at the door.
We're supposed to be making people wear masks to come into our store to shop, and we do have the right to refuse service.
All these people?
Yeah, if you don't have a mask on, I have to.
As much as we want to let anybody and everybody shop, I can't risk being shut down.
Right. Even the store manager wants to let people in without masks, but he's afraid of the health department. Operation grocery store number 3.
You have to have a mask on if you're in the store. It's private property. If you don't have a mask on, you have to leave.
I know. I have a medical exemption.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I have a medical exemption.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
The county health advisor says that if you have a medical exemption, you don't have to wear a mask.
So is there a manager here?
I don't want to wear it either. I mean, I'm kind of sick of it too.
That's fine. It doesn't matter.
We just want to buy some stuff and then leave. That's all we want to do.
If you're not following the county's laws, you're in violation of American Disabilities Act as well as HIPAA.
Okay.
People, we have the right to have a medical exemption.
When people believe the state and they believe the media, they get very angry. We have medical exemptions from doctors.
I have this legal medical letter, and New Leaf won't look at it. They won't let me in. I literally have an order there, and they say they'll shop for me, but they've yet to do that.
Yeah, I was just observing this whole transaction, and I am just incredibly shocked. I'm amazed that that a store could be taking this stance. I mean, this is literally discrimination against people with a medical condition. This is really unbelievable.
Peaceful, civil disobedience. The quicker everybody quits pretending there's a pandemic, the quicker it's over for everybody.
Personally, I think people aren't wearing masks are selfish. I think you guys are all really close together and not following social distancing, and I'm actually pretty close to you now, and that's your choice.
Do you believe in what the government and the media is telling you?
I don't believe a lot of what the government and the media are telling me, but I believe some of it.
If we want to live in a voluntary, peaceful world, it starts with the man in the mirror. And so we're having a conversation, we're heated because it's important. I saw a fist pump. Can I ask you what the fist pump was?
They're sick of masks, so am I.
High fiver? Nice.
I love it when you ask the one gentleman that's saying you're being selfish, like, do you always just agree, trust your government and the media? And he's like, no, but sometimes. And why is this that sometimes? That's the question, right? When you did this, was there anything did you get the reaction you expected, or what did you find surprising about this experiment?
You know what? I had no intentions of going viral and even scaring and upsetting some locals. But what I did want to do is let people know, in strength and numbers, we can have these conversations, because we've been trying to talk with the county supervisors and the governor and all these politicians who are in their ivory towers. But when we are faced with mandatory masks to get food, what do you really do? And so I believe in non-compliance, non-cooperation, as the state of California mandated forced vaccines in schools 5 years ago. So it's almost a foregone conclusion, in my opinion, that they're going to have forced vaccines to save the day. And I don't want to be injected with poisons. And so that's why the governor of California did a mandatory mask order. So I think it's a real solution, non-compliance. I mean, the people out there, do you want your family legacy to be that mandatory mask passed when you were alive, just like the TSA did 20 years ago? Now you got to get rubbed down when you go fly on an airplane. I mean, it's really got to understand that the precious moment that we have right now, I'm calling it the summer of freedom, because I think this is an important summer. And as you mentioned, the schools before, they're going to implement this in the schools unless moms and dads and families out there get up and do something, just some kind of action to start the conversation, have courage to talk. And then the other side of it is like a symbol, like muzzle you up. And you guys are getting censored all over the internet, as a lot of pro-freedom people are. So we have to take the mask off, speak our truth, and have a conversation. So I was shocked that it did go viral and that so many people were vitriolic towards us and our peaceful voluntary group. But I think it was really positive, and now we're seeing the snowball effect.
Let me ask you a question, because as I walk around, in these stores, I see so many people with like the mask underneath their nose, right? Like we've all seen that move where they're just walking around with their nose sticking out. Or you see the surgical mask where there's so much air coming in the sides I can see your lips. There's even Gavin Newsom. Almost every photo I see of him, you know, that's how he's walking around. When you watch Tony Fauci with a mask, the one thing they said is the reason you shouldn't wear a mask is because, you know, you end up touching it all the time. I mean, look at him in his video. He's fondling his face. There's the virus. It's right there on your nose, Tony. There it is, right there. Oh, no, there too. And bacteria. Oh, let me go make sure I get it in around my lips underneath. I mean, this is exactly why we don't want to be wearing masks. It's making us touch our face. And by the way, all of that bacteria and viruses could be, you know, right there on the edge. But my question to you is, you know, and I've gone out, I spent a career doing man on the street interviews and things like that. What is really happening in the minds of people? Because most of the people, I think, don't really wear the mask because they're trying to protect themselves from something. It really seems like a compliance statement. And let me make this clear. Because if this was actually Ebola that was running across America, number one, I'd probably be wearing the mask. And you'd be seeing people like tape it to make sure that nothing can get in the sides. You don't see anybody that dramatic. They're so loosely putting it on. They're grabbing that same dirty cloth mask that they've worn the last 5 days and putting it on again. None of those things would be happening, I don't think, if you were actually afraid of this virus. It seems to me most of this is just sort of our natural desire to just want to fit in, be compliant, be good citizens. Do you have a similar read on that, or what's your read?
Yeah, just like the school's original purpose is to create obedient people to manage easily by the state, this is kind of the next phase to control the minds of people and, you know, believing that there's a higher authority outside of yourself, right? If you believe in natural human rights to your life and your liberty and your property, then how can anybody force you to do anything? So I think it's kind of a lack of understanding of what freedom is. You know, what is the definition of freedom for you? And for me, it's, you know, being able to do what you want as long as you don't harm another person. And so now they're making freedom seem selfish, but the other side of freedom is personal responsibility. And so I've seen people with the mask and they have a staph infection. You mentioned people passing out. I saw an article, some school children in China had died exercising with that. So it's actually a risk to wear the mask. And so the state has no authority. All they have is violence, and they want to have us be obedient. So it doesn't look really positive. And so I really recommend people disobey and have a conversation about really what is my right to oxygen? This is a right to life. This is fundamental. And then think about, like, what does freedom like really mean to you? Because I believe it's the issue of our lifetime. I think we're either going to choose consensual relationships in communities or allow these coercive organizations to dominate us, dominate our children, put this as the new normal, as you're seeing, and make it in the schools, make it in the history books, and then look back as a false flag event to benefit Big Pharma, which you know is the largest financial lobbyist in the country. So, and the politicians don't have any control. They're downstream. So I think it's time to talk about freedom, discuss freedom, get people together. They're even trying to break up gatherings of people, you know, and this is why we started doing the beach day civil disobedience, because it was illegal to be sunbathing. We could be swimming in the ocean, but we can't be sunbathing. So we did it week after week. We started with 10 people. A few weeks later, you know, we had 60, 70 people out there. So it's really time to talk to your neighbors, literal neighbors, your friends and family, people you can discuss and say, what is going on? You know, you guys are doing so good on the show here. We have to discuss what is our fundamental natural rights to our life, our liberty, and our property. And I think if we can get there, then there's going to be a great new paradigm of voluntary consensual relationships.
Brilliant stuff. I love your energy. I love that you're out there, David, fighting for freedom, trying to do what's right. It's really, I believe, what our founding fathers not only requested but demanded of us. Should you ever find yourself in a time where people walking amongst you tell you that you are being selfish for exercising your right to freedom, it may be time to speak out. David, keep up the great work. I look forward to future videos and the work you're doing out there. Thanks for taking the time.
You bet. Thanks, Dale.
If you like that clip, then be sure to check out our live broadcast of The Highwire every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. You can watch it on Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, and Twitter. We'll see you there.